Hey guys, welcome to Konig Kickback this week. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend if you were celebrating. I hope you still have all your fingers and toes. This is a jam-packed episode, so let's get started. Kicking things off this weekend, Global Time Attack made a return to Road Atlanta. Derek Boyd and his Mitsubishi Lancer took home an insane time in the Unlimited class, winning it all at 1:27.584. That's an insane speed around the Road Atlanta course. Formula One also made a great return this weekend in Austria at Red Bull Ring. What a weekend. Red Bull protested Lewis Hamilton's moving steering column because it was in use during qualifying, or practice, and then towards qualifying. It was denied by the stewards. The implication is that it might be banned next year, but then Lewis Hamilton got into more hot water in Q3 by not obeying the caution flags, and he was moved from 2nd to 5th on the grid. Valtteri Bottas, his Mercedes teammate, took home the victory, but not after Lewis Hamilton got in even more trouble in a huge accident with Albon late in the race. What a wild start to the Formula One season. Couldn't have asked for much more there. Headed over to Indiana, Indy racing is back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Scott Dixon got the easy victory over the weekend, even though caution flag helped him get across the line. He seemed unstoppable all weekend. Amazing performance. Great to see Indy racing back in action. IMSA was back this weekend as well at Daytona. In fact, Corvette Racing took home a milestone 100th ever victory, and it actually was the first ever race win for the new Corvette C8R. Huge congrats to the team there. In the prototype classes, Mazda swept the show with a 1-2 victory as well, just proving their dominance in that class and looking to continue it through the whole rest of this season. In some other shocking news, the Geneva Auto Show has canceled their 2021 auto show that wasn't even set to kick off until April 2021. That's huge. And you have to wonder what that means for possible upcoming events such as the SEMA show in November, which right now is still on the books in Las Vegas. But man, when people are canceling events all the way into April 2021, you've got to wonder if these conventions/trade shows are going to be able to happen in the near future. All right, guys, I got no guests this weekend, but don't worry. I changed it up a little bit. A lot of you are still stuck at home. There's a lot of stuff going on with coronavirus still, unfortunately. So what I did is I took 5 things that you should watch on Amazon Prime Video that you might not have watched or you might not know about. Break down these 5 quick movies. They're easy watches. I highly suggest them. Let's check it out. These are in no particular order, but number 1 is a movie called Crash and Burn. It's about Tommy Bryan in 1980s Formula One. He was said to be unquestionably the greatest racing driver of all time, and just as quickly as he ascended into Formula One supremacy in the top notch of racing, he vanished. Why? Check out this video. It breaks it down, has a lot of interviews with some other people that were on the grid with him. A+ film if you're into especially vintage Formula One. It's a very untold story. Number 2, Boys of Bonneville. I've always been a huge fan of the Bonneville salt flats, but I didn't know a lot about the history of Bonneville, and I hadn't really watched a lot of content on Bonneville. There's not much to find. I found this to be a really great piece. They even do some interviews with some guys like Jay Leno in the film. It's really enlightening, really great to see what Bonneville is all about. I personally never made it out there, and it really just gave me a feeling of like what these guys are going through and what kind of madness it really is to run that fast on the salt. Next up is One, the movie. Like One, the number 1, the movie. Another Formula One flick, but this one's pretty interesting. It actually goes earlier in time to more present time. It talks about the dangers, Formula One and like what safety was back in the 70s and 80s and how these cars progressed from, up to these 700-800 horsepower, like insane machines, but the safety didn't progress with the cars, and how it was a very dangerous time, how 20% of the grid may have even passed away in the time frame of a few seasons, and what that meant for everybody around, how it improved, how it changed. It's a little bit of a heavy film for sure, but I think it has some great insight. Once again, if you're a Formula One fan, you could learn about some history of Formula One that you never knew. It also has some current day Formula One drivers in the interviews like Lewis Hamilton. So if you're newer to Formula One, you'll still know some people in the film. I definitely check it out. If you're not an open wheel fan and you're not a salt flat fan, I've left you pretty high and dry up until now. It's called Winning, Racing Life of Paul Newman. Paul Newman was an Academy Award-winning movie star. You might not know, you might know, but in fact, he kind of left all that behind to become a professional race car driver. This documents his life as a racer, and he wanted to be known as a racer and not an actor. And he went and did a lot of very cool 1980s road racing. He was very competitive. He won a lot. And once again, I think it's a real neat perspective. I think it shows a lot of the glory days of 1980s road racing in America at a high level. I think it's really cool. The footage is pristine. I think you should check that one out. Even if you're not a Paul Newman fan, I think it's got some great educational pieces to that part of racing history. Last but not least, number 5 on the list, in no particular order, like I said, it's called Launch Control. It's about the Subaru Rally team and their struggles and potential triumphs through the American Rallycross series. I really liked it. There's actually 2 seasons available on Amazon. There's season 6 and there's season 7. And it gives you a real good insight into a rally team. Like I said, if you're not into the open wheel or the super professional levels of racing like some of these other films, it's a little more grassroots. It's got Travis Pastrana, familiar name you'll recognize, and it just shows the struggle, dedication, determination of a team, even though still a factory team and well-funded, on how they're trying to make their way through the season and be successful under the umbrella of a car manufacturer. I definitely think that one's worth checking out as well.